For some, the Supreme Court decision to overturn Roe v. Wade was a disaster, toppling over 50 years of precedent. But for others, this is a victory for life and the future of the country's children. Here with me is Gene Mills. He is a pro-life advocate and the president of the Louisiana Family Forum. Thank you so much for joining us.
It's an honor to be with you, Gary.
All right, so let's get started. So one of the results of the Supreme Court decision is that SB 342 is now law in Louisiana. Can you explain what that means?
Yeah. The Dobbs decision basically took the question of whether Roe would be the precedent or the law of the land and turned it upside down and inside out. This court actually went so far as to say of the previous court in 1973, that right never existed. It's neither enumerated in the Constitution nor expressed anywhere. So this court did a dramatic shift, returning much of jurisprudence, which you call precedent, to its original position. All 50 states had laws on the book back then, including Louisiana. Senate Bill 342 just simply clarifies our civil and criminal provisions and orders the abortion clinics to close if Roe is overturned. And now that it has been, that goes into effect.
So this has been a really difficult decision for a lot of people. And for some, like I said earlier, it's been a victory. How have you felt about the decision?
Well, obviously the joy of knowing that the law has gotten it right and the Constitution is clear. I think one of the jurists on the court said the original court got it egregiously wrong. I concur with that. Now, there's a lot of people that are impacted about the mistake of the earlier court. And now the question of how do you correct that going forward. So we see an opportunity. We believe it's an opportunity to celebrate. We think this court got it right, and it's an opportunity to reach this generation with a respect life ethic, and also the understanding that we have many people to express compassion, concern, and direct care and provision for that are directly in our line of view and in our sphere of influence, and we have a responsibility to reach them.
Another issue that a lot of people have taken with the overturning of Roe v. Wade and also, SB 342 being implemented is that there aren't any exceptions for incest or rape. So, what are advocates like you, pro-life advocates, thinking with that? What's the thinking behind that decision, and also, what does that mean?
That's a good question. In the Dobbs case, the court didn't make any mention of questions of exceptions, provisions. It just simply said there's no right to an abortion enumerated in the Constitution, therefore overrode, and returns it to the people to decide. In Louisiana, our legislature will decide. And there was a Glover amendment to Senate Bill 342 that failed on a 62 to 37 to 6. There were 6 absentees that dealt with rape and incest exceptions. I think it speaks to the pro-life ethic of many Louisianians who believe that life actually begins at the moment of conception, and that ethic must be respected within public policy. So the assertion is, well, how do you reconcile an egregious wrong, rape or incest? And it is. And we believe that those who are guilty of that should be prosecuted to the full weight and extent of the law. But you don't accomplish that by punishing or penalizing a child. And our concern is that we need to respect life all the way through. I will say this, Senate Bill 342 still affords birth control and emergency contraception, makes no provision that is either prohibited or unavailable. And it remains an option for people in those circumstances.
Is there also a fear that, SB 342 is going to exacerbate an already dangerous maternal mortality rate?
I don't believe the law does that. The law is a teacher. It tells us this is good and that is outside of the realms of what we consider acceptable. I think the misinformation, the failure of the family unit, the breakdown of the independent church and community outreach center, that I believe it was Hillary Clinton who once said it takes a village to raise a child. That is really true. And now it's going to take that village to rally around each child. And we're going to learn to do life together again. And it's going to come with growing pains, but it's a necessary thing that our forefathers all experienced, and we will now. And I think it can be positive.
All right, Gene Mills is the president of the Louisiana Family Forum. Thank you so much for joining us.
It's good to be with you.